Attention all units. We have reports of 2 motorcycle cops protecting California's highway.
That's for us, good buddy.
The Men of Chips are on MeTV.
Hi, I'm John Baker. I'm John Baker. It's Officer Baker.
He's the blonde one.
Hi there!
Officer Poncherello, man.
Frank Poncherello.
Oh, I'm Frank Poncherello.
And he's the one who's Eric Estrada.
There's no way I wouldn't remember a name like that.
Catch the blonde one and the one who's Eric Estrada
Now
Chips.
on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Hi, I'm John Malos. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Friday morning. A hoppin' show today, my friends. 436 MeTV option 11. Our topic, well, yeah, it's going to be a tearjerker to a certain extent, so get your tissue ready. Second half of the program, more on the water rates. Yesterday, a big development. Doug Vagim will be along the second half of the program. We'll see you around the corner after the commercial. And we're back here on the program here on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this Friday morning. We're glad you're with us here. You're watching us, of course, as usual, Monday through Friday, live on Comcast Channel 187, going through thousands and thousands of homes up and down the Central Valley from Los Banos all the way down to Bakersfield, and now 43.6 and 13.1. Those are the live programs, my friend. Hey, later on today, you can catch the replay, 2 o'clock at 13.6 on YouTube, and then 8 o'clock tonight, 4.6 Biz TV. If you want to catch me on Twitter, I got some catching up to do on there. Boy, I'm going to have a busy weekend, huh? Follow me on Twitter, at John Malos, MeTV. Now, I want to get to the water rates just briefly before we get into the main topic of our program today. A major development yesterday, it has to do with your water rates going up, but there is a new development. The mayor of Fresno held a news conference along with Steve Brandel. We'll talk about that in the second half of the program with Doug Vagim. That is the mayor right there, Ashley Swearingen, still trying to get her on the program, my friend, but she's been dodging. Hey, let's play some dodgeball with the mayor. Hey, not a bad idea. I haven't played that since elementary school. Anyway, put up the picture of Mark Standriff. We talked to him last night. I'll get into that later in the program with Doug Vagim, but he has not responded to any of my phone calls for the mayor or Tommy Escueda or anyone else to come on the program. But you can call him. Hey, maybe he'll take your call, 621-8000. There is a recording. You can leave a message, 621-8618. We'll get into all that later with Doug, who is going to be here in the studio talking about the water rates. Anyway, my friends, time to get to the main portion of our program today. And as I said in the opening, I hope you have a tissue ready, because today's program, the main topic could be a tear jerker. Have you ever wondered about those abandoned children? What happens to them when they die? Do they get buried? Do they have a proper burial? Well, there is an organization here in California. It's called Garden of Innocence, and they take care of these children who have been abandoned, either in a trash bin, maybe at the hospital, maybe they've been left on a highway or inside of a car. The founder of Garden of Innocence is Elisa Davey.
People ask me, how can you bury a baby? It's like the hardest thing in the whole wide world. And my answer right back to them is, how can I not? Garden of Innocence is a place that's been made for abandoned and unidentified children, to provide them with a dignified burial, to bring a community together to bury a child that nobody else cared for. And anybody that's at the service can form a circle around the garden, and they pass that urn or casket from one person to the other, so that we can say we've touched this child, and this child's touched our hearts.
Live in our studio now is Lisa Davey, the founder of Garden of Innocence, a nonprofit organization that gives a decent burial to these abandoned children across the state of California, including here in Fresno. And Enrique Reed, the general manager, will talk about what their expansion plans are for Garden of Innocence, of course. And as I said, this is going to be your tearjerker. You can call in at 436-ME-TV option 11. There is a cemetery right here in the city of Fresno where they do bury those abandoned children and those babies, and they have funerals for them. And it's an incredible procession and leading up to that funeral. Anyway, we take your phone calls today here on Connect With Me, as we always do, and we're going to be back after this brief timeout.
Frigidaire. It means the first electric refrigerator, the first compact electric range. Now, there's the Frigidaire Gallery Range with Symmetry double ovens. It's designed to cook multiple dishes at multiple temperatures, so you can prepare the entire meal at the same time. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Okay, my friends, welcome back to the program. 436-ME-TV option 11. A very sensitive topic here today, because we're talking about the death of abandoned children. Some are left on the side of the road, some are left in hospitals. The parents, they simply, the mother gives birth, and the parents just simply walk out. They never come back again. Some of these children are left in trash bins. It's really sad to see. So Lisa Davey is here. You are the founder of the organization, and of course, Enrique, I've seen you in here before. You're the general manager of Garden of Innocence. How old is the organization?
We're 17 years old, started in 1999 when we buried our first baby, Adam.
1999. So tell me how this whole thing started. I was reading on the internet last night that it started with an abandoned baby that had died in Chula Vista, as I understand it, in 1999?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us, pick up the story from there, what happened.
Well, like everyone else, you're home reading in a newspaper, and you read an article about a baby that was thrown in the trash, and the first thing you think is, who could do something like that? And then you put your paper down, and you're off doing your own chores and things, and your life goes on. Well, for some reason, I just couldn't forget, and about a month later, I called the county coroner, and I said, for my own peace of mind, whatever happened to him, that baby? And he said, well, he's still here, and if nobody claims him, he goes out into an unmarked grave out at Mount Hope Cemetery. So I asked him, well, how do you claim a baby that's not yours? And he said, show me you have a dignified place to put him.
That was it?
That was it.
That's all you have to have?
That's all you have to have. And
really?
then,
You have to have no relation to the baby, no blood relation, no friendship or kinship of any kind.
No.
A total stranger can come up and say, if I have a place to bury this child who died somehow, somewhere, and nobody is claiming it, I can claim it as my own and bury it?
At your expense, yes.
At my expense.
Yes.
Enrique, how'd you get involved with the organization?
Well, I'm in the funeral business here in Fresno,
right?
And I'm also involved with the coroner's office here. I have the transport company for transporting all the cases here for Fresno County. And Alicia had come to the coroner's office and talked to them, and another lady by the name of Callie and Dr. Haddon at the time. So what we did is we had to go in front of the Board of Supervisors here in Fresno to get their blessing. And they gave us the blessing, and Henry Pereira gave us the blessing along with the rest of the Board of Supervisors. So that's how we got it going.
Yeah, and so since 2001, I've been reading, is that nationwide now, there have been about 2,600 babies that have been actually saved from being caught in a situation where they're abandoned and then they die. That's a lot of babies, but I'm not sure what the number of babies that die who are abandoned, what that number has been since 2001. Do any of you have any idea what these numbers are?
No.
No. How about last year? How many abandoned babies died?
I don't know. I know.
Even across the state of California.
I have no idea. I don't know. What happens when children are in the indigent program and in the abandoned program before Garden of Innocence, they were just cremated and held with the counties until they had 200 to 400 cremains and then buried in mass graves. And there could be as many as 80 a year per county.
80 a year per county in the state of California? Well, in the big counties,
like Sacramento had 80, said they usually get about 80.
Per year?
Indigent children, I'm sorry. But abandoned children, there aren't that many, but there are a lot of children that have been born at area hospitals where the parents walked away and left the bodies and never claimed them. And we average about 10 a year per garden, and I have 7 gardens. So,
okay, so about 10 a year. So I want to talk about some numbers, and we have a series of photos, a host of photos, plus a video. Let's start with some of the photos we can show. Right here in the city of Fresno, there is a burial place. Where is this, Enrique?
Mountain View Cemetery, right
That's
here.
right off of Highway 99.
99 in Belmont.
All right, and this is called the Garden of Innocence.
Yes.
And where would they go once they enter the cemetery?
Well, you go into the main gate and you go down to the first, I call it a street, the first street, make a right turn, and you'll see it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's right at the dead end.
Right.
You can't miss it. It's beautiful.
So you have buried, for Garden of Innocence, 262 children in 17 years?
Yes.
About how many here in Fresno are buried at that site? Does anybody know? Roughly speaking?
I think there's 31.
31.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a couple pending right now also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What happens now at the ceremony? Take us and walk us through that.
Well, the babies are, the very first thing that happens is once we get a child, we place them into a handmade urn that are made by the Boy Scouts of America as their Eagle Scout project, or woodworkers across America. Mm-hmm. They're wrapped in a handmade blanket that's about 8 inches.
That's one of those urns right there?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And these urns were all made by people here in the Fresno Valley.
Yeah.
And they're wrapped in a handmade 8 by 8 inch blanket, and inside that urn with them is a donated Beanie Baby. And then when the baby arrives at the service, we tell the people that have come to the service that each child that comes into the garden is given a chain of love so that we can say that we have touched this child and this child's touched our hearts. And then we welcome the first baby into the Garden of Innocence, and it passes along a chain of people in a big circle until it reaches their final resting place, and then they're placed on a table throughout their service. And then we have a volunteer minister, a volunteer singer or musician. Each baby receives a poem that's been written just for them that's read at the service. And each baby is being given the love and dignity that they deserve by the people here of Fresno County that came to this service to let them know that they cared.
About how many people show up at a service like this, and where do these people come from? And how do these people find out there's a burial service taking place?
Well, what it is, John, is that it gets in the news, of course, you know, in the newspaper, and they come from all over the valley. We've had up to maybe 100, 125 here in our garden here in Fresno.
Mm-hmm.
One thing about it, John, when we have these burials, no matter if it's here or Santa Barbara or Sacramento or San Francisco, we have a lot of people that come to support us.
Yeah, we got to take a break. We're talking with Elisa Davey and Enrique Reed from the Garden of Innocence here in the city of Fresno. She is from San Diego, though, and started this 17 years ago, a service that provides a proper burial for those abandoned babies that have died unnecessarily, my friends. There is a cemetery here in the city of Fresno. It's out at Belmont Cemetery off of Highway 99. 436 MeTV option 11. Second half of the program today, we'll talk about water with Doug Vagim. Back in a moment.
That's mountain.
Tune in to Heartland for the best in true country music. Relive vintage specials, one-of-a-kind concerts, and country music's earliest videos. Heartland is the heart of country, the only place where you can find country music, country stars, and country lifestyles 24/7. Heartland, the heart of country.
Now on channel 13.2.
We're back here on the show, and we hope that you are encouraged to call in and ask a question, because this is an important topic, and you know, this comes from the heart. Elisa Davey is here, started this 17 years ago, Garden of Innocence, trying to, you know, provide a proper resting place for these abandoned children. And so I got the cemetery wrong. It's Mountain View Cemetery.
Yes, sir.
It's on Belmont.
Yes, sir.
It's not Belmont Cemetery.
That's right.
All right, off of Highway 99. We know where it is. So how many venues do you have around the state?
Currently I have 7 and that are active gardens. And
They are?
Garden of Innocence San Diego, Kern, which is in Bakersfield, Sierra, which is in Sacramento, Bay Area, which is San Francisco, By the Sea, which is in Ventura. And I just got approval last week from Monterey County, so we'll be doing one in Monterey. And I also have to return to Inyo County, Butte, and Humboldt County to start a garden there, which means I have to go find a cemetery to help.
Right, and the goal is to have one in every state, and
Yes.
You are looking to expand right now into New Jersey and Pennsylvania as well?
Yes, we're working on gardens there. We do have an active garden in St. Louis, and we're also working on one in Minnesota. And I'm trying to stay closer to the West Coast for now, but I get calls and letters almost every single week of people that want me to help start a garden in their area. And this is why I try to bring on more people, but raising funds is really hard for us. So
Why is that?
well, we get people, you know, they give to the Boys and Girls Club or they give to the animal shelter, and all I can say is, you know, our children didn't get a chance to go to the Boys and Girls Club or get a puppy from the animal shelter, and they still need to be completed. They need to have their circle completed, and it's, you know, I was disheartened because I sent out 1,500 letters over Christmas, and all I've gotten back is about probably 12 reject letters.
Is that right?
But in a way, it was nice to get the rejects. At least they did respond, so that was nice. So it was really kind of disheartening, but we're doing everything we can.
So you sent out about 1,500 requesting donations?
Donations, yeah, from, you know, companies and, you know,
It's awful.
people,
Wow.
CEOs of companies.
No
and
takers out of those 1,500, huh?
Not one,
That's
no.
amazing.
John,
That is
we got some letters from, I'd like to share that with you, from the Queen.
okay.
Queen of England, we've got
Really?
letters from.
Got a call here. Can we
Sure.
hold off on that just for a moment, Alyssa? All right. All right. Caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was wondering, how far does their organization reach? Is it just a Fresno County thing? I mean, I'm in Tulare County. Do I have to give to the Tulare County chapter, or how does this actually work?
We try to combine gardens together so that when a certain county doesn't have that many children, we try to bring in King and Tulare into to be included in the Fresno Garden, but we haven't had approval from those counties yet. Enrique's been working on it. If you wanted to donate, you could just go on and donate to Garden of Innocence National on our website, and it will go to help continue growing here in California. But we hope to have those 2 counties included in the Fresno Garden.
So if our caller wants to donate some money, let's say, or maybe even wants to volunteer, I'm sure you have volunteers, right?
Yes.
Who would he call, Enrique? Who would he contact?
He could get a hold of Alicia.
How can we get in touch with you?
You could write on the website at gardenofInnocence.org.
Okay.
Here local in Fresno, it's goifresno@gmail.com. And we have a person that answers all those emails for volunteers.
Is there a telephone number here in Fresno,
I can
locally?
get my
or-
number out.
Yeah.
Sure, you can get my number. That's 559-940-2159.
Okay, say that again slowly.
559-940-2159. And we will be coming to Tulare. We're working on Tulare right now and Kings County.
Okay, so Tulare and Kings County are in your sights.
They're
Yes.
in our sites.
Yeah, we've talked to
Basically.
them numerous times.
We've
yeah.
already opened cracked the ice down there. We just have to go back and do some follow-ups.
Right, and you know, this cost, I would assume, a lot of money to you know, have one of these burials. It's not cheap to go out there and have a service out there at the cemetery off of Belmont, but it's not cheap anywhere either. Another call coming in. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, John, and to your guests, Alyssa and Enrique. You were correct. It is a tearjerker show, and Alyssa, I commend you for taking the initiative to do such a noble thing,
Thank
and
you.
Enrique as well for being there by your side. My question is, what is the average cost per child? I had my TV on mute, so I'm not sure if you touched on it, but per burial, and I guess that's across all of your gardens. And have you considered using online methods of collecting funds? I know GoFundMe is a big thing that we hear now in the media that seems to be very effective. So I'm just wondering if you've taken that avenue and the average cost per funeral. So I'll take my answer over the air.
We do have it on GoFundMe. Have never received anything back. Have it on another one at the moment. I can't remember what it was. I try to keep up on them, but I'm like a one-armed chicken running around doing everything, and I just have to keep going. Mostly what it costs per baby is probably around $635, depending what the cemetery will charge us. We try to get the cemeteries and mortuaries to donate their time, but we don't want to take away any of their business. So if they will donate, then we're thrilled. If not, we'll try to raise the funds in order to get the babies taken care of. Most important is that the babies are taken care of.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a break. We're here with Alyssa Davey, the founder of Garden of Innocence, and the general manager here in Fresno, Enrique Reed. We're glad that they're both here. You can call in. We got about 20 minutes left with them. So 436-MeTV, option 11 is the telephone number here. We're back in just a moment.
A top secret location. It's the spies who love me, bringing together MeTV's top super spies to fight evil at a memorable moment's notice. They're daring.
That's right.
Brave.
Now what are we gonna do?
The best we can.
Suave.
Does that apply to me, Oscar?
Possibly.
And smart.
The old finger in the gun trick.
Maxwell Smart.
MeTV Fresno, channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
We're back here on the show, 436-MeTV. Option 11 is the telephone number here on a Friday morning, talking about a very somber subject, and that is the Garden of Innocence. And that's an organization that provides a decent burial for these abandoned children who have died somewhere, either in a trash bin, a hospital, a car, side of a highway, wherever. Where are most of these babies found, usually? What's the most common place, would you say?
An area hospital. The state law is once a child reaches 20 weeks in gestation, if it should pass away, it becomes the parent's responsibility to dispose of their child's remains. Previous to that, it's considered fetal tissue. So then if the parent or a baby is born at a hospital and passes away and the parents walk out and don't claim the body, then it's held for 30 days trying to get the parents to come back, and then it finally has to be turned over to the county coroner, who will then in turn certify it abandoned and then call us.
Yeah, and we have more pictures to show, I would assume. Let's show some of the pictures that we have out there at the cemetery here in Fresno. It's off of Belmont. What are we looking at? I see Henry Perea there. He is the supervisor here in Fresno County.
Big supporter.
Big supporter. Well, what's his direct affiliation with your organization?
He's actually set up between him and Enrique, they set up the meeting for me to come and speak to the Board of Supervisors. And Enrique and another one of the Board of Supervisors were at that first service, and they dedicated the garden to the community of Fresno, and there were approximately 300 people there at that time.
Yeah, Henry's a good guy. He's been here on this program many times before talking politics, and he's a great supporter of organizations like this around the county. And what procession are we looking at here?
These are the babies getting ready to come into the garden. We buried 23 babies our very first day. And
the very first day you had 23, so you buried 23 at one time?
Yes.
In the same grave or separate graves?
No, each baby gets their own spot.
Their own grave?
They get their own spot, and they get their
headstone?
They get a headstone with, each baby is given a new name, only a first name, and the day they were buried, and that goes on the stone. And the babies are all named by people from in the community itself. We don't name them. The Garden Innocence doesn't name them. The community does.
Look at the people that showed up here. Do you recall when this was?
This was
this is our first
October
one,
27th, 2012.
Just 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or less than.
Yeah.
About 2.5 years ago. And so where'd all these people come from? Again, you get more than 100 out here.
They heard about it in the news, and they saw the obituary in the paper. Friends. We love it when children come because they laugh during the service and they're running around playing with, butterflies, and they bring life to the garden. Our motto is, if no one grieves, no one will remember.
Yeah, and I want to ask you, because I took this off your website, it says all of our gardens work under our main umbrella and follow our guidelines, which are what?
The guidelines are the verbiage. It's very important that whoever runs a garden, they know exactly what to say, because we have to stay in tune with with the county.
Okay.
And so we have certain verbiage as to what types of babies we have, the babies born at area hospitals, the babies that have been found in the trash or along the road. I have a baby at my house right now. He was thrown in a river on Valentine's Day.
Oh, my God.
But
wow.
That was a year ago, and he's still with me. I'm waiting for his service date. And this is the first time I ever had a coroner call me up and mail me a baby.
Who would do such a thing? Who?
We don't know. We don't focus on what happened yesterday because we can't change it.
I know, but who really has the nerve or the gumption to be able to do something like that? I just don't understand it.
Nobody does, but our feeling is what happened yesterday is over. Today's a new day, and I'm going home. So come celebrate with me to send me home, because I deserve the dignity of this. And this is what all these people in these pictures are here this day to send these home with the love and dignity of their families, their new family, and their community. And once we come into an area, the first thing we have to do is find a coroner that will accept us and allow us to help them with their indigent burials of the abandoned children. And once he accepts us, then we have to find a cemetery to help us by hopefully donating an area that will give us room.
Exactly what do you mean you need to find a coroner that will accept you? We only have one coroner here now. It's Sheriff Mims.
Yes.
It's not Dr. David Haddon anymore. What does that mean? You have to get the coroner to accept you.
Well, when somebody comes forward and says, "Hey, I want to help you bury your babies," they think you're weird, and so we have to earn their trust. And we have to let them see who we really are. And so our first service is always a testing service, because they don't know who we are. But we've got a good reputation, and they know who we are. And now I have coroners that are calling me. And my problem is I don't know. Inyo County, Monterey County. I have one in Chicago just called and wanted to know when I was going to be headed that way. And it's just funding.
It's not as easy as it sounds.
It's very hard.
Very, very hard. And so Margaret Mims is well aware of this organization.
Oh, yeah, she is now, yes.
Yeah, she is now.
Well, they just took over.
Yeah, they just took over first of the year. And how was Dr. David Haddon to work with?
He's awesome.
Yeah, he was great. He was supporting us.
Yeah.
Things we have to have the support, John, of all these different agencies in order to make this thing happen.
What's going on here? That's an interesting photo right there.
They at the end of the service, everyone goes by and they're sprinkling rose petals into the vaults that will go into the ground. So the babies' urns are covered with rose petals and Beanie Babies, because people bring toys too.
Yeah, very interesting. Wow. So that ceremony taking place just about 2.5 years ago here in the city of Fresno. So we're going to be back here on Connect with Me. We're talking with Alyssa Davey, the founder of Garden of Innocence. That's an organization that takes care of these children who have died unnecessarily. They're abandoned somewhere, someplace, sometime. 436-ME-TV, option 11. Back in a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified #1 rated high-efficiency Cabrio from Whirlpool Place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Whirlpool Cabrio laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
Wow, hard to believe. We're talking here with Alyssa Davey, the founder of Garden of Innocence, and Enrique Reed. So we're just talking in the break here. So you actually do have and have had in the past certain places, like, I don't know where, corners that actually reject you at first,
It's not
and
that
then they embrace you?
Well, what we've been told is that we don't have that need here. And Alicia always says, yes, you do. You just haven't looked into it. And we had experience like that in Sacramento. And we met with the interim coroner there, and we didn't give up. We took it was a no to us, and we left from there, and we talked about it. We weren't going to give up. And then we ended up going back again, and her attitude had changed, accepted us, and
were they in denial at first, or what, about these babies that had been abandoned?
You know, a lot of people don't think about that there's a problem out there, you know, with these babies until they really look into it. And everybody has looked into it will call us back and say, you know what, we do have a problem with this. We do have now we'd like to talk to you. And Alicia, first thing, jump in an airplane or drive or something to go right wherever the problem's at.
Yeah. So you don't hesitate to travel if need be, huh?
No, I try to take the car or the train as much as possible to save money. But with Sacramento, they have an interim coroner, and she's just said that she would wait. She would let us have her abandoned children if we would take the indigent children. Okay. And I asked her, how many indigent children do you have? And she said about 80 a year. And so that's the indigent children would fill our garden in a year and a half, so we can't take them. So she won't give us their abandoned until we can solve an issue with her on that. But she said she likes Pottersfield.
Yeah, so this is and I want to clarify as we take a look at this ceremony from 2012, dropping roses inside. Where are they putting the roses here? Inside where?
They're dropping them inside what's called it's a pyramid. It's a little vault that the urn is already placed in there, and the roses are all donated from Wasco. Weeks Roses in Wasco, they donated.
But what I was going to ask is, there is a separate location, Enrique, within the cemetery.
Yes.
It's a separate location, all in of its own, right?
Yes. And you know, they're all different, and they're all very nice. Yeah. One thing about it, they always give us somewhere really a nice area to put. And if you notice, you'll see our logo, our statue in all of them.
Okay. Yeah. And here's the ceremony here that took place.
And if you notice too, John, the guards from the sheriffs and from the police department, it's like everybody's involved with this thing. It's not just one denomination, it's all denominations, and we don't even look into that. We've had pastors come and speak, priests come and speak. We have had, you name it, from different churches, different beliefs, but that's not what it's about. It's about the babies.
Absolutely.
Wow, look at that. The rose petals there, simply amazing.
That's our statue there.
That's your statue there. Now talk about that statue. Who made that? And
that was donated to us by Bell Granite here in Clovis. Roy Bell is the director of Garden of Innocence, Fresno, and they donated that. And we also can get our we have the headstone guys here in Fresno donate the headstones.
They do. What organization? What's it called? What's the organization?
Headstone Guys.
The Headstone Guys. Yeah. That's the name of the organization?
Yes.
All right, now we have a question here. The infant remains, are they cremated or how is that done?
Yes.
They are. So you're basically talking about ashes.
We're talking about ashes. In San Diego, we do full body burials because we have the room. But we go by the rules of the county. Sometimes the county will say we want them to be left whole, and sometimes most of the counties want them to be cremated. So we go by the county rules. And here in Fresno, they're all cremated,
because of the space. There isn't enough. So how much how much space do you guys have out at that cemetery there?
I think there's room for maybe 100 or 150.
Probably.
Plus, there's probably room for 500 because she said
really?
we will.
There's room for 500, and right now you have like 31 out there, right?
Right, but she said she's going to leave aside room to expand.
So is it like an acre of land out there?
No.
Less than an acre.
It's little tiny.
Yeah, but where they have the gardens at, you can tell that there's more room that they can open up. Like in all cemeteries, they open up a certain area and then they can expand, and that's the way. The most of all, except for our San Francisco. Now, Lisa can explain to you about our San Francisco garden. Is very different.
What's going on there?
It's in the San Francisco Columbarium, which is a place where they're all niches. And it's the only place you can be buried in San Francisco is in the Columbarium. And they gave us a niche that will hold 100 to 200 children if we stack them on top of each other. But
is that what you do when you run out of space? You stack them one on top of the other?
No.
No, but if that ever happens, is that the plan?
No.
No, we'll start another garden.
Another garden somewhere else.
Yeah, or the one here. The one here, she's got room to expand towards the street if this garden should get filled. We're the only nonprofit that wishes we were out of business.
Yeah, because if you stack them one on top of the other, then you've got to make the new nameplates and or headstones.
Yeah.
And that takes time, effort, and money as well. So you just rather expand to some other different area then.
Well, we'd expand because we don't want to spoil their space.
What photo is that?
That's a Knights of Columbus. When I
Okay.
first started, the Knights called us from, came to the very first service to give full color guard to the children, to escort them to the garden in San Diego. And Mr. Anderson, who's in charge of the Knights in Connecticut, he came to the service and he said, wherever garden goes, the Knights will go also. So they come to every service and give us color guard.
That's pretty amazing. Another phone call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air with our two great guests today. Go ahead.
Yes, those babies right now, they're with Jesus Christ. They're in heaven.
Yeah, amen.
Okay.
Do you have any?
Those babies right now?
Yes.
They're with Jesus Christ in heaven.
Okay.
And they're watching us. And I give those people a lot of credit, and God's with them in all ways. And let God have peace on them.
Amen. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. That was a very pleasant call. And you know what? Very deserving as well. You guys do terrific work. And I want to commend you, Elisa, for your hard work and effort towards this. Just tells me what your heart's made of.
Oh, thank you.
It's made of gold. No
Thank
question
you.
about
I appreciate
it.
that.
And, you know, Enrique, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us, John. You have
Really
a great show
appreciate it.
here.
Well, you guys have a great organization, and you're welcome here anytime as guests.
Anybody would like to volunteer, we're always looking for volunteers.
Yeah, tell us
Really
once
are.
again, real quick, before we leave, how can we get in touch with you? Maybe give a website, an email, your phone number again.
My phone number is 559-940-2159. That's my direct cell.
How about a website?
gardenofInnocence.org, and then hit Our Gardens, and on the left there'll be a tab pop up that says GOI Fresno. Hit GOI Fresno, and there's all your contact information to reach this garden is right there.
What can you do as a volunteer? What do volunteers do? If someone wants to volunteer their time, what would they do?
Oh, they could. There's so many jobs. Collect Beanie Babies, 8x8-inch blankets. We have people that we need to help with newsletters or help with mailings. But the most important thing is come to a service, because these babies belong to you. They now belong to your community. And come to the service and be part of their family, because the gardens are built for your own community to celebrate that they were once here, because if nobody grieves, nobody will remember.
We have a great organization here. They meet in Clovis at Bell Monument. If they'd like, they can look up his number and get a hold of Mr. Bell, and they have meetings down there too.
All right. Well, God bless you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For the tremendous work that you do, and I commend you. You guys are tremendous. I think what you're doing is very honorable.
Thank you.
All right. Elisa Davey coming in, and thank you for coming in all the way from San Diego today. I appreciate it very much, and have a safe trip back.
I will. Thank you.
All right. Elisa Davey, Garden of Innocence, the founder of this nonprofit organization, founded way back in 1999. Seems like it was only yesterday, and our thanks to the general manager, Enrique Reed, as well. We're going to be back with the second part of our program and Doug Vagim in just a moment.
Watch Dr. TV on over-the-air channel 13.9.
We get our speed from Mom and Dad. They do stuff super fast. And now they got this new kitchen, so they're even faster. So they can help us with our free throws.
The time-saving Frigidaire Gallery line with a quick preheat and smudge-proof stainless steel that resists fingerprints and cleans easily. It's mealtime in no time, from start to clean. Frigidaire Gallery.
Save more during Frigidaire Gallery bonus days when you buy 3 or more qualifying appliances. See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
The Ballad of Andy and Barney. Andy and Barney were lawmen, bravest you ever did see. Warned every crook in the record book to stay out of Mayberry. They were the law.
Yes, they were the law, and they didn't know fear.
The Andy Griffith Show.
I guess to sum it up, you could say there's 3 reasons why there's so little crime in Mayberry. There's Andy, and there's me, and baby makes 3.
Now on MeTV Fresno.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, will help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
All right, some big developments now as far as the water issue and the water rates are concerned here in the city of Fresno. Yesterday, the mayor of Fresno, Ashley Swearingen, let's put her picture up on the screen if you will. She held a news conference with council member Steve Brandow, and they announced this new water agreement. What is it? Well, instead of borrowing the money, some $200 million from, say, a private bank or something like that, they got the loan from the state of California at an interest rate of 1.2% for 30 years. Now, they claim that this new agreement is going to save the taxpayers or ratepayers or the city of Fresno, however you want to look at it, more than $100 million over the next 30 years. And they will reduce the rate on your water bill by some $3 a month. There are some people that are saying that is an insult to injury. You're going to raise them. So at the end of 5 years, instead of going up to $52, it'll be $49. Anyway, Steve Brandow is going to be here on Monday, but now we've got a guest in the studio. But I want to put up the picture first of the water rates. Okay, I want to talk about the water rates. Here are the water rates, the plan, the 5-year plan. Right now you're paying about $25 a month on average. At the end of that 5-year period, they want to jack it up to $52 a month. But now with this new agreement and this announcement that was made yesterday by the mayor, at the end of 5 years it'll go up to about $49, as I said. Why? Because I want to put up a map of that water treatment plant on the east side of Fresno. The money is going to go to build that water treatment plant on the east side of Fresno. They want to build out toward the east, the sprawl to McCall, as Doug Vagim likes to call it, 14 to 17 square miles. They want to build that out. They want to capture all that water from the Kings River and deliver it to you. Only problem is there are certain parts of Fresno they can't deliver that water to, whether they have that water treatment plant or not. $429 million water plant when they can use a water plant up north at a cost of maybe around $90 million. Well, live in our studio right now is Doug Vagim to talk about all of this. And Doug, I appreciate you coming in on such short notice. I kind of explained it right now. What do you think of the news conference? What do you think of this new plan? They're basically paying 1.2% over 30 years for about $195 million.
Well, they went and got, at least as far as I know, some kind of verbal commitment. There's no documentation on applications. Remember, these are applied loans to
Did
the
they
city.
sign an
No,
application?
It takes months to go through this process, months. And it's got to be scrutinized by not only the state officials, but the federal officials. Most of this money that's coming out of the state revolving fund is EPA money. And they have a criteria how you're supposed to go through the process to qualify. You just can't just walk up and say, I'm the mayor of Fresno and I want 200 million bucks. It doesn't work that way. It's not like a popcorn
Let me
line.
understand what you're saying here is they made this announcement prematurely prior to getting the application?
Yeah, well, it was to get Steve Brandow to be able to come off the fence and say that I found money. We kicked over a rock. Well, you haven't found money because you haven't even gone through the application process yet. It's just a whole dog and pony show once again, just like their so-called forums.
Yeah, let's explain the council vote. I don't know if we have the council members in their pictures. We don't have them, but basically the vote takes place next Thursday, okay?
That's right.
Okay. As far as I know, Clint Olivier was going to vote no, from what we can gather. Sal Quintero told me here he was going to vote no. Soraya looked like she was leaning no, so that's 3 no's, right? That's 3 no's right there. However, Brandow is the guy that was on the fence. He said he was going to abstain. Now he changed his mind because of this deal.
Well, I saw him on your show right here a few weeks ago where he said emphatically when you asked him more than once, I think it was about 3 times, are you going to change your mind? And he said, no, you have to show me the money. Well,
What changed?
Well, I guess you just got to show him a promise and wink at him and he's going to reverse himself. I don't know, because it is an application process. It is a very competitive and complicated application
Hey, there are the
process.
council members right there. Soraya probably going to vote no. Brandow now changed his mind again. He's going to be here Monday to talk about why. He was on the fence and he said he was going to abstain, but now with this new deal, the loan deal with the state, he's in with the mayor. He's going to vote yes, probably. Oliver Baines is going to vote yes. Paul's going to vote yes. And the rest of them, there they are right there. Quintero is a no vote. Lee Brand is a yes. And Olivier appears now to be a solid no, I would assume. What about you?
Well, I think that's pretty good math.
Yeah.
But the fact of it is that no one knows. Everyone's an individual, and I respect that. I really do. I know where my position is, and it always has been, and I haven't flagged one bit. Is the fact that the city plan, and the mayor's plan, has moved all over the place with different names, different ideas, different things thrown at it, with the idea that you can have one day one thing, another day another thing, come up with affordability on one day, come up with a water savings credit on another day. All has the tinge to it, John, that they just don't have their act together. They're rushing. This is
I
another.
want to know more about this application. What makes you think they don't have the application?
Because they just ran back to say that we've got it in the bag, and when in fact I know the process doesn't work that way, John.
How does it work?
Have Mr. Brandow bring in the approval. Have him bring in the approved application. Matter of fact, have him even bring in the application itself. There's a lot of work to do. They've got to fill out detailed analysis.
How long does it take?
It can take months, and the approval process takes months. Because those are supposed to be an independent body of people up there making that decision. Now, if they have changed this so that revolving fund now is a political process, then we learned something new, haven't we?
Yeah. Hey, I want to put up a picture of Steve, or Mark Standriff, and I was going to say Steve Brandow. No, it's Mark Standriff. He is the communications director for the city of Fresno. Now, let me explain to you, I have nothing against Mark Standriff. I have nothing against the mayor or Tommy Escueda or Bruce Rudd or any of these city people. I just would want them to come on the program and explain where this application is, for example. Let me see the application. Let's have a decent, intelligent discussion about the water rates going up. But since before Thanksgiving, I have been trying to call Mark Standriff. He has not returned my call. Last night, one of our producers, he talked to one of our producers, and he said he was going to call back, and I asked one of them to come on the program, either Mark Standriff, Tommy Escueda, the mayor. We got a call back this morning. The answer was a resounding no again. So they've gone on other programs, Channel 47, Talk Radio, KMJ, Power Talk, refusing to come on this program to explain to our viewers, 436 MeTV option 11. I mean, Standriff gets paid $125,000 a year, taxpayer money. His job is to be the communications guy, to come on the programs like these to explain to the ratepayers who are going to foot the bill for this thing, and he's not coming on.
Well, that's right, because you're the only guy asking the right questions and pointed questions that should be asked by a journalist or a host or what have you. The fact of it is, most of the other hosts are basically just putting pudding on it and saying, here's a bouquet, welcome to my show, we're happy you're here. That's the unfortunate part about this, because the citizenry are not getting the information. You're trying to get the information.
What questions should be, what tough questions should we ask of the mayor and Standriff and some of these other city people?
Well, first of all, let's see the application, let's see the approval. You say you have it in the bag, well, let's see it, number one. Number two, are you going to go out and borrow another $1/3 of a billion that you anticipated borrowing on top of this $200 million? You are anticipating going out and selling on the commercial market about $1/3 of $1 million bond. That's $1/3 of a billion. $1/3 of $1 billion bond. And you now have said that you got a low interest loan of almost $200 million. Does that mean you're going to go out and borrow less on the private market, or are you still going to go out and borrow that same amount?
Do we really need that water treatment plant on the east side?
No, we don't. As a matter of fact, we don't even have the secured water agreements for that. You know, the water agreements with Fresno Irrigation District, which is the purveyor of all that water, is a year-to-year contract. Now, even the ancient civilizations understood you needed a longer term.
And there are certain parts of Fresno, even if they were on a good rain year, they can capture that water, but they can't deliver it to certain parts of Fresno.
That's right, because the older part of Fresno, back all the way up to probably the early 30s, was not in the district. They're outside the district. That means you're transporting water outside the district, and Kings River water cannot leave its district boundaries.
Why is the city pushing this when there have been how many of those ballots were returned? About 41,000 valid.
Over 50,
resounding no votes.
50,000 were returned. That's households now.
Yeah.
With U.S. Census says there's two adults over 18 in every one of those households. That's over 100,000 people.
I want to put those up on the screen, the petitions, you know, the mailers that you got over the holidays. You just check the card, sign it, and that stands as a no vote. They got more than 41. So. But I heard Mark Standriff say on Channel 47, oh, but hey, that was only like 30% of the the homes, the hookups
of the total.
Yeah, 30%. 70% didn't even respond. That means they were okay.
But that same figure is more than the figure that any one of those people in office got from the total registered voters.
Caller, you're on the air with Doug Vagim. Go ahead.
Yeah, my question is this going to be like the baseball stadium where the city was supposed to get millions of dollars back, and the people believed what they said, that they were going to get the money back, and now the city's holding the bag with the stadium? Is this going to be the same scenario for the water treatment?
It could be. We don't know until we see the application and we see the approval process and it's actually signed off by the state of California that a check is in the mail. We don't know that. It's so premature. They're months away from actually securing that money, but meanwhile, they're going to have to go ahead and sell a bond if they want to move their projects. So in other words, this is just a feign. Look, we got this money, but we really don't have this money, but we're going to get this money. Well, show us. Prove it up. Have Mr. Brandow bring in the documentation. Show it. There's nothing there. It's just all wind and air.
So you're saying there is no application, they don't have the loan secured.
Well, somebody might be starting to fill it out right now. Maybe Mr. Standriff's spending his time filling out that application. I don't know. But he spends most of his time taking pictures of me when I'm out in front of City Hall. That's where his cell phone is being burned up. Can't call you. He can take pictures with it, though.
Now, let me ask you something, Mr. Vagim here. You met with the mayor last weekend with a concerned citizen. Didn't want his water rates going up. How'd that meeting go? Who was there? The mayor, you, the concerned citizen, and who else?
Escueda,
okay.
The Director of Public
What happened
Utility.
at that meeting?
Well, it was a frank meeting, and we all, like the previous meeting I had on a one-on-one with her, that we agreed to disagree. They
Did
had
you
their
push back?
Oh, absolutely. And Mr. Escueda has some things I believe not correct, and I pushed back, and he went back and said, yeah, okay, we'll have to do. We need to do this and we need to do that. He's saying certain things that have never been done. They don't know exactly how much water is coming in from the Sierra Nevadas. They don't know. No one's ever done a real test to it. We need money to go do that studies from the federal or state government. When I was on the state air board and appointed by Governor Wilson, the first thing we did is said, if you want us to regulate the valley air, you better give us a lot of money to study what we need to do. The same thing needs to be done with water before we spend hundreds of millions of dollars fixing something that may not work.
Well, the thing is that, scrutiny needs to come down on City Hall anytime that you want to raise rates or take money out of the pockets of ratepayers or taxpayers, would you not agree?
Oh, absolutely, and they don't have all that done yet. They don't. They don't even have their agreements with FID secured. It's a year-by-year agreement, John.
Fresno Irrigation District.
Fresno Irrigation District is the only source of water they have by surface water at this particular
time. And that
time.
organization delivers the water to certain parts of Fresno.
Right.
You're saying that there's a portion out there by the airport can't be delivered to.
West of the airport.
West of the airport.
That's
Can't deliver water there.
And south all the way to maybe Jensen Avenue.
Right. Are you going to start another initiative to try to block this?
Well, everyone wants to know that. Look, you know how many calls I've got of people wanting to do it? Really. And
I don't know.
And I've told the city in my agreement with them that, look, I'm going to take this all the way on this one. And our agreement says that I won't be pursuing that. But that doesn't mean out of the 500,000 citizens, somebody else is not going to stand. We broke the ice, so we charted the ground. We survived the $500,000 lawsuit that they threw at us. I think it would be a little easier this time. As a matter of fact, 1,000 less signatures are needed this time than what we were required last time because the people didn't turn out to vote in the governor's race.
You thinking about doing it?
Well, it's not Doug Vagim thinking about doing it. There's citizens thinking about doing it. And the only thing I can say is if it's that's
You'll lead the charge.
Well,
huh?
I'm not going to put up barricades like the city does to everyone else. The citizens ought to have a right, and we'll just see what they're going to do.
Yeah. Why are they doing this, do you think?
City? It's a program which they can pin on their lapel as a merit badge. We did this, we did that. They'll be long gone. The citizen in that private meeting on Saturday that you talked about, that person mentioned that to them. You're just going to be out of here if this thing fails. A Granite Park, a Met Museum, a stadium, a taqueria, all these things once again are coming back up and coming around. And this has that same kind of boondoggle to it.
Two quick questions here before we got to go. They say that the low-income people and those on fixed incomes will pay a lower rate.
Yeah, they're going to drop them by $5, but they're going to run out of homes in 17,000 homes. The U.S. Census says probably over 50,000 homes qualify for that. What happens to those people, John? Do they stand in line?
Yeah, once you go beyond the 17,000, what do you do then?
They're out of money. Every year they'll be out of money. So, I mean, it's a bad laid plan. It's poorly designed, poorly thought out. It's just a rush for political purposes to get themselves proven up that they can do something big and monumental, and they're a big, we're going to solve the problems. On the backs of the individual citizens, they're solving the problem.
There's another water treatment plant up north. Why can't they rebuild that one for $90 million?
No, it's not $90 million. The plant was built with a design of adding a twin to it for a fraction of the cost. It's not double the cost because 80% of what you need in that plant is already in the plant number one.
They can upgrade it.
Yeah, all they need is to move water through a whole, because all the treatment for the higher level treatment and all the chemical stores are in plant number one to go run plant number two.
All right, let's put Mark Standra's picture up on the screen one more time. Mark, I know you're watching, have a standing offer here to come on the program on Connect with Me or the mayor or Tommy Escueda or Bruce Rudd, hey, to talk about this water issue. You'll be treated with respect, you'll be treated with honor, but tough, fair questions when you're trying to, reach into the taxpayers' or ratepayers' pockets. We're going to be back again with another edition of Connect with Me on Monday. Doug Vagim, thank you so much, sir.
Thanks,
we'll see you down the line.
Yes, sir.
So,
thank you.
I don't know, another initiative, who knows? We'll wait and see. We're going to be back with another edition of Connect with Me. Dan Payne will be along Monday. He's a terrorism expert, along with Steve Brandow. And who knows, maybe down the line, the mayor, Mark Standriff, and whoever else at City Hall. See you Monday. Have a blessed weekend.
When you're looking for KitchenAid innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, we'll help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified KitchenAid appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.